hello. So, let's make sure this is working. How's it going? Nobody's on yet. So I'm just going to wait a little bit for someone else to jump on before I get started. And thanks everyone for watching the replay if you're jumping on. Let me make sure I can turn my volume down. Hey Ashley, how's it going? If for some reason I'm preemptively saying I put part 1 because I have the worst internet. Like, I live in the city, but I live in an old house, and for whatever reason, my internet sucks sometimes and just kicks me off. So if I get kicked off, I will do a part 2, and I will jump back on. So I am really excited, and I did not remember that it was the debate tonight. So if you are joining us after the debate, I don't know what's going to happen because obviously it's happening right now. But thanks for joining me. This, I swear to you, is like so life-changing. I wish I would have known this in my teens and in high school and growing up, because I feel like I would be in a much different place than I am now. Hopefully you get at least one thing that is absolutely mind-blowing for you. For me, was hugely mind-blowing. But even if you just take away one thing that you can implement into your life, that's going to be so important. I don't know if you guys know who I am. So my name's Amanda Larson, but I started in April of 2014, typical nail biter story. I hated my job, and this was a way out of that job for me. So now I'm here. I did not really know what vision was. Till probably like maybe 6 to 9 months ago. So I had heard vision. I've seen Rachel Hughes. I don't know if you've seen her videos on vision, and she talks about vision in terms of Jamberry. Well, for me, it kind of made sense, but I am logical. Like, I want to know the why behind everything. I am one of those people who I want to know, like, the nitty gritty. And it just didn't feel like I had the full story on vision. So I had gotten a book also at Exec Retreat, and I'm going to give you guys some resources to some free worksheets that will really help you. They are awesome. And now I look at my vision and I think about vision and I work on my vision every single day. I know you're like, what? Great. One more thing. Amanda's adding one more thing to my plate. Like, I already don't have time for anything. But if you make time for anything, this is something that you want to make time for. So I'm going to talk about what is vision, why we want to have a vision, and then how to create a vision. So steps for creating a vision. And I will tell you that this is something that you just can't do once, put in your drawer, forget about it, and then like your vision comes true, like, you know, your fairy godmother's like, ding, you have everything you want. It doesn't work like that. So we'll talk about some ways to keep that vision in front of you, how often I rework my vision and my goals and things like that. So what is vision? So there are 3 types of vision. There's positive, negative, and neutral vision. And the universe, God, whatever you believe in, your spiritual belief, the universe does not care if you have a positive, negative, or neutral vision, but they will 100% respond to it. So if you are sitting there and you're like, what is she talking about? If you feel, I've been on both spectrums. So if you feel like you're like, why do these things keep happening to me? Like, you're tire gets flat, or you like lose a recruit to someone, or you get ahead money-wise, and then something happens and you're like, why? Why do I always go backwards? Well, I want you to start reflecting on your vision. So the other side of things, if you are one of those people where you're like, yeah, I'm killing it. I got like 3,000 PRV this month. I have 6 recruits, like whatever is going on in your life, reflect on your vision, because your vision has a lot to do with where you're at currently and the momentum and where you're going in the future. So neutral vision. So what would a neutral vision be? So neutral vision is something where is the type of person or the type of vision that someone has where they're like, you know, I'm just perfectly happy at my job. I hate it, but pays the bills. You know, I get 2 weeks off vacation. I'm not really, I don't love it, but it's fine. Like, I could be here forever. They have a pension. There's retirement. Like, it's totally fine. That's not me, by the way, at all. But that would be kind of a neutral vision. So you don't really see these great, grand things in life, but you're definitely not super negative about your life either. So positive and negative vision is exactly that. You're super positive. You're going in the right direction. You have positive self-talk. You have, like Rachel Bufano always says, PMA, positive mental attitude. Negative is exactly that. You're like the Debbie Downer. You're like the victim. You're like, oh, I just don't understand why she has 6 recruits and I don't. Like, I don't understand. That's not fair. Life is not fair. Blah, blah, blah. So that is the difference in positive, negative, or neutral vision. And remember, it does not matter what type of vision you have, but the universe is going to respond. So if you can be positive about your vision and you have a crystal clear vision of what you want in life and where you see yourself going, and all of this is about your life. So yes, this is partially related to Jamberry, and you can take a lot of this and relate it back to just creating a vision for your team and just creating a vision for your personal business. But without a vision for your life, you cannot have a crystal clear vision for Jamberry. I will throw that out there. So that's why this is important. Until you have a crystal clear vision on your life and what that looks like, you cannot have a crystal clear vision and why for Jamberry. Because you don't know how Jamberry is going to play into your life if you don't even know what you want for your life. Bubbly person, I have to practice being positive every day. Every day I wake up, and I'll talk about the how, but every day I wake up and I have to make a conscious effort to look at my vision, to look at my goals, to give myself positive affirmations. And I have days where I live in Arizona. It's not normally like gloomy, and it is gloomy today. And I'm telling you that I feel it just from the weather. So I got to kind of flip it around sometimes and be like, what is my problem? I need to be positive. So when you're positive, doors start opening. It's really weird. So let me give you an example of this. So have you ever gone to buy a car and you're like, ooh, I really love this car. I've never seen it before. I love it. It's so cute. I have to have this car. Like, I have to have this car. It has to be this color. I have to have it. Never seen them before. You leave the dealership and you literally see that car everywhere. You're like, did everyone just go buy this car? Like, I've never seen this car before. It's so weird. It's the same thing with like Jamberry, or like before I started Jamberry, I never even heard of it. And then I was like, oh, I saw a sticker on someone's car. And then I saw, some things on Facebook. And I'd never noticed Jamberry before. But as soon as I wanted to do Jamberry, or as soon as I wanted to be successful at Jamberry, I started seeing it, right? So it's your mind showing you what you want. So that goes back to that positive mental attitude, that positive vision. So if you can create a positive vision for your life, your mind will start noticing things that you have never noticed before. You will start noticing the lady behind you at the grocery store who is a hot mess and her kid is screaming and she just looks like she needs a friend. Or, hundreds of friends. And you may not have ever noticed her before because you're so, your eyes are down. You have this maybe negative vision or maybe neutral vision. So you just never noticed her before. But once you create this vision for what you want in life, your eyes kind of start opening up to things that were always there. It's really weird. I'm telling you, it's like bizarre how it happens. So what is vision? So vision needs to be crystal clear because vision is directly related to your motivation. I know we talk a lot about in the Jamberry world your why, that your why needs to be really strong. Your why feeds directly into your vision, and your vision directly feeds into your motivation. So there are 5 different areas in your vision that make up your vision. So you have family and serving. Faith and serving. So faith, church, serving might be something you do in the community, something you do with your team, for your team, any ways of serving. Family and close relationships. So that's where you have your family, your jamily, your friends, acquaintances, all of those people. Health and fitness is number 3. So that would be food choices, fitness, how healthy are you, the food that you put in your body. Also, how mentally healthy you are. Are you taking time for yourself? Are you scheduling time for yourself every day? 4 is finance and career. So this is where Jamberry comes in. Jamberry is that vehicle in finance and career that's going to get you one step closer to your vision, your life vision. And then you have 5 is mental and lifestyle. So that would be like vacation, travel, how many books are you reading, things like that. So you'll see that in those 5, there's a lot of gray and there's a lot of overlapping, and that's totally fine. And if you consider, reading and education and stuff more into health and fitness, totally fine. It's your vision. You can have it be whatever you want it to be. So why vision? Vision, like I said, is that motivation for you. It's going to be that thing, that anchor, that when you're like, I have had 11 zero parties and I just want to throw my hands up and be like, what the hell? Vision is going to be that thing that says, yeah, but in 2 years from now, I'm not going to be where I want to be if I just throw my hands up and say, peace out. So it's that vision is that anchor that keeps you grounded when times get tough. Yeah, it gets you going. My vision gets me up in the morning, and I'm on a new schedule now. Gets me up at 6 a.m. now so that I can get up, take time to shower, take time for my affirmations, take time to read a chapter of a book every single day, take time to write goals, and we'll talk about this. But my vision and my passion to dominate and have everything that I want in life and be able to give everything I want in life, that's my vision. That's what motivates me. That's what gets me up every day. So vision also helps push you through your fears. So we're not going to talk a lot about fears because that could be like a whole hour conversation in itself. But fears we all have them. We all have them. Like I said, I don't post things on my personal page because I don't like to be spammy, because I don't like those people that are super spammy. But I did. I was like, whatever, I have to do it. This is part of my vision. And that girl found me. So it's one of those things that your vision is going to help you push through those fears that you have. It also is going to help you with the stories you tell yourself. So there's 2 different things. We either have a fear or we legitimately believe this crazy story that we're telling ourselves. And I feel like women have more stories that we tell ourselves than men do, because I don't know why, but I just feel like that's how it is. So we might tell ourselves. I think I put this somewhere, but I may not have. So stories we tell ourselves might be like, I'm not good enough. Or, oh, I totally put it on the floor. So I'll tell you a story I tell myself. So when I think about my Jamberry career, so this is, thinking more about my Jamberry vision or how Jamberry relates to my vision as a whole, I think, why am I not further? And I totally know that you guys can all relate to this, right? Like you're like, why am I not here? Like I set a goal to be there. Like, why am I not there? Well, I started thinking about it, and this like takes some serious, deep reflection, but I'm like, what is the story I'm telling myself behind this? Like, why do I feel guilty for not being here? Like, where does that guilt come from? Well, it comes from when I was in junior high and high school, my dad always said to me, oh, you got an A-. That's so great, but you have room for improvement. Looks like you can try harder next quarter. And he did it from his heart, and he felt like, oh, I'm just pushing her to be a better person and a better student, and I'm pushing her to be driven. But me, I took that as, great, I got an A-. I'm not good enough. Give you the finger, Dad, because I've been trying really hard. Like, whatever. So then when my dad asked me questions like, oh, how's Jamberry? Are you at the top yet? Those stories come back. And I'm like, oh, great. No, but I have a great team and I'm killing it. Like, isn't that good enough? So those stories, if we don't know what they are, those hold us back from creating our vision and from living our vision. So there's this whole talk of just creating our vision, but there's also that day-to-day of living our vision. And it's okay to go backwards, but we have to recognize that those feelings, like the feelings of guilt, the feelings of fear, the feelings of I'm not good enough, the excuse of I don't have time or I don't have money. Girl, you have time and you have money. If you want it bad enough, you will sleep 4 hours a night and you will make it happen. Like, there's stories that we're telling ourselves. Sometimes we say, oh, we don't have money because we're scared of succeeding. So we have, like, let's say potential recruits, and they're like, oh, I have this really big vision. Like I want to pay for Christmas for my family and I want all these things, but I'm not willing to invest $99 for myself. There's a story behind that person deep down that they're not willing to invest in themselves because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they're worth it. They don't believe that they can make the money back. There's some weird story that they're telling themselves to prevent them from living and creating a vision. I told you, this is going to be deep. So you have to identify those stories. So I posted, I don't know if you guys saw, I just did it like an hour before we went on, but I want you to start, and I'll give you some homework, but as you do the homework, I want you to feel and recognize how you're feeling, because when I first ever created my vision, there were things I left off because I did not feel like I deserved them for whatever crazy story I've told myself. So I, had to recognize that I left something off. Then I had to recognize why I left it off. Then I had to recognize the story that was BS that I was telling myself. So it's kind of like, a lot of reflection. You're like your own therapist while you're writing your vision. But when you're done, it's like rainbows and unicorns, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to dominate Amanda for president. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be president. Okay, so why you set a vision also is if you do this, Jamberry. My new obsession, I love and want to learn how to do the really awesome watercolor calligraphy. Like, I want to learn how to do that. So that's part of my vision. But if you feel overwhelmed in life, girlfriend, you need a vision. And let me tell you, you need a vision if you feel overwhelmed because you don't know when to say no. You don't know when to say no or yes. A vision will help you set goals and prioritize your time and money. A vision will help you set goals and help you prioritize your time and money. Did you get that? So, a vision. Think humongous picture. You're like, 3 years from now, I'm in a house like this. I'm making this kind of money. I'm doing this side project. I have a team that's this big. I drive this car. I work out this many times a week. I help this many people a month. I read this many books a month. I educate. I do this. I do that. I do that. That is my 3-year vision. So if I back into that 3-year vision, it's going to help me set goals. So tomorrow, if I wake up and someone says, hey, would you like to come to lunch? I'd love to chat with you about this. You know what? I would love to, but how about we talk next quarter? Because right now, my focus is this so that I can get to here by next quarter so that I can stay on track with my goals to get to my vision. If you don't have a vision, you don't know what's benefiting you. Is watching, I'm going to use this as an example, is watching this live benefiting you to get you towards your vision? Is sitting on the couch and watching TV 2 hours a night getting you to your vision? Probably not. Do you have a calendar that looks all crazy and you're like, I don't even know what to prioritize? When you have a vision, you will know what your priorities should be. I totally just dropped everything. Okay, so I hope that this is helping. So we talked about what is vision, why is vision. So you probably are like, well, I have dreams. Like, I'm a dreamer. I totally want, this. If you don't write it down, it won't come true. So dreamers are somedayers. So dreamers are those people who are like, oh, well, someday I'm going to be President of the United States. That's my dream. It's going to happen. People with a vision, they write it down, they are crystal clear, and they can back into that vision and set a goal. So a vision is like setting a stake in the ground. It's like claiming what you want. It's like really big goal setting. And it's really crazy because you're like, I don't know how any of this shit's going to come true. Excuse my French. But when you create a vision, write down what you want because the how will come. You need a vision first. Your vision is like your why, your humongous why, your purpose for your life. Once you have that written down on paper, not on the computer, on paper, then the how you get there and the what you do to get there will come. Vision is definitely something you fight for. Like J.K. Rowling's, she had a vision that her book was going to be awesome, that someone was going to publish her book, and she didn't care who it was, but it was going to be someone, and she wasn't going to stop until she found a publisher that was going to take her on and publish her book. She had a vision. She had a vision for creating a better life for her family. She didn't have any money, single mom, like all that jazz. So everyone's vision is going to look so different. Like, I don't have kids. My vision's going to look so different than Ashley's vision with 6 kids, right? Like, maybe, Ashley, you have this vision of putting your kids through college, putting them in private school, homeschooling, providing, being able to afford karate and gymnastics and dance and all those things. Like, those won't be in my vision. But they're super important to you. So I've never been one, people are always like, your why needs to make you cry. And I was always like, maybe I'm just not very emotional, but like my why didn't make me cry. But my vision, that gives me chills. It is crazy. So, the how will start to appear. So think of your vision as the foundation for your life, the foundation for the home, the foundation for your career, the foundation for anything that you want starts with your vision. So I want to show you guys how I go about creating this vision, how I go about looking at it every day, and how I go about backing into it and setting goals from it. So when I first did this, it was crazy. I sat in a room with like 10 other people who I did not know. I did like a workshop, and they were like, okay, we want you to write down, take like 5 minutes. So it was timed. So when I redid this 2 weeks ago, I timed myself. I gave myself 5 minutes, and as fast as I could, I wrote down things in those 5 categories that I saw for myself 3 years from now. So why 3 years from now? So 3 years from now is far enough ahead that it seems possible. But it's also super close. So 5 years for me, like I can't even envision where I would be 5 years from now. But 3 years? 3 years is close. Like I've been doing Jamberry for almost 3 years. Like it goes by so fast. So when you start your vision, and I'll write this down in a post for you guys so that you have it. When you write your vision, you want to think 3 years from now. So if you have kids, if you're married, all of that jazz, you want to write, how old will your kids be? How old will your husband be? Or your wife? Or your spouse? Or your girlfriend? Or your boyfriend? How old will your parents be? Because let's face it, our parents aren't getting any younger, and are we going to need to take care of them in the next 3 years? Are our kids going to be in kindergarten in the next 3 years? Will they be in college in the next 3 years? Do we have the added expense of college? If they're going to be in kindergarten, does that free up your day to do whatever you want? Are you planning on having kids in the next 3 years? Because you might have a 3-year-old or a 1-year-old, and your day might look like running around changing diapers and chasing after kids, and you won't have a lot of time or as much time as you did. So you want to think, what's your age? What's your spouse's age? What's your parents' age? What's your kid's age 3 years from now? Because all of those things are going to play in a factor. Like your husband. How old is your husband going to be, or your wife, or your spouse? Are they going to be at the same job? Have you guys talked about that? Like, what's their aspirations? And one huge thing about this is your vision. Do not write a vision for what someone else wants for your life. Oh, like when you're 19 and your dad's like, oh, you need to go to college. You need to get a bachelor's degree. Oh, you're right. I should probably go to college and get a bachelor's degree. That was not my vision. That was my dad's vision for my life. My dad says direct sales is no bueno. That is his vision. That is not my vision. I think direct sales, I think Jamberry is awesome. And likewise, if you have naysayers in your life, be very cautious at how you share your vision with those people. Because we all have those people in our lives. I have friends that are like, why would you do that? How are you going to do that? I don't know, but I'm going to. And when I do, I'm going to be like, boom. Thank you. You owe me a drink or whatever. So be very, very, very careful with who you share your vision with, but also share your vision with people that are, close to you, that are truly, love you. Share them with your Jamily. Especially share your vision with your vision of Jamberry. Because that's going to obviously play into your life vision over the next 3 years, whether it's huge or it's small. Share that with your team. Because they want to know, like, are you sticking around? Like, what's your plan? Are you moving up? What are you doing? So this is crazy. So after I wrote, my ages of myself, my husband, my parents, I wrote down I just did this exercise a couple days or last week. I wrote down the 5 areas. So I have like faith, family, friends, fitness, health, foundation, or it's like serving, and finance and career. So I wrote down all those. I gave myself 5 minutes, and as fast as I could, I wrote down everything that I wanted for myself and my life in the next 3 years in those categories. Obviously, I couldn't write down everything, and that's totally fine. But when I was writing, when you give yourself a time limit, things just start pouring out of your mind, like in crazy ways where you're like, what? I never even knew I wanted that, but it's in there. It's in there. And when you time yourself and you give yourself kind of some guidelines, so you know, you give yourself the like career title or career area, things start coming out where I'm like, whoa. So after you do that, that's like your little outline. Then you sit at Starbucks in a quiet place. You do not bring your computer. You leave your phone in the car. In the car. No distractions. Go somewhere where you don't know anyone. Go to a quiet place. Leave your phone in the car. Do not bring any electronics with you. And give yourself 1 hour to expand on this list. In 3 years from now, this is my life. And you write it you write it as if it had happened. So past, I don't know, I'm not an English teacher. But you write it as if it happened. You write it in a letter format. So this was my first one. This is crazy. I want to show you. So this was in February. And my vision hasn't really changed that much. Some of it's changed a little, and it will, right? Life changes. And sometimes your vision gets bigger, and sometimes you change your vision. This was my first one. You guys, I did this, and I think it was like an hour. Maybe it was like 40 minutes. I don't know. But you will be so amazed how things just start flowing out of your brain. You're writing them. Hand write. Do not type this. There is something about when you put your thoughts onto paper, the doors that it starts opening for you. Last week, and I gave myself an hour. You guys, I had a hand cramp. Like a hand cramp. And it's crazy. And part of me thinks, how will that even happen? But the why will come. Or the how will come. Sorry. So write it down, and these crazy things start showing up. So once you have your vision written down, then you start goal setting. So then you say, okay, I have this 3-year plan. That's what you make your vision board off of. You can make a 3-year vision board. You can make a 1-year vision board, but you can take what you wrote down and make a visual. If you're a visual person, hang it in your office, look at it every day, write it on your mirror, whatever you got to do. Me personally, I expo dry erase penned a bunch of stuff on the mirror in my bathroom. I see it every time I go to the bathroom. I see it every time I get out of the shower. I see it every time I put my makeup on, do my hair, brush my teeth. And sometimes I change it. Sometimes I change the color so that it like keeps me, engaged. And it's small things. Like as a question, how are you showing up? I don't know. How am I showing up? Did I put makeup on today? But once you have your 3-year vision, you back into it. So what do I mean by backing into it? You're going to take that big vision and you're going to say, how the heck am I going to get there? What does that look like? So if this is where I want to be 3 years from now, financially, where do I need to be a year from now? And how am I going to get there? If Jamberry is my only source of income, what does that look like? That looks like a team of this size. That looks like sales of this size. That looks like this many people at these levels. So then I'm like, okay, great. That's where I want to be at a year from now. What does that look like 6 months from now? Well, probably half. I don't know. I know I'll take some motivation and some like ramp up momentum time to get there. So then you look at 90 days. And 90-day increments are where you really, really want to focus. Because 90 days, huge things can happen one way or another. So where's your activity going to be? How many people are you going to get in front of? How many people are you going to talk to? All of those sorts of things. If you have a fitness goal that you want to lose, like let's say you want to run a marathon next year. What does that look like 6 months from now? Are you going to be able to run 13 miles? Like, where are you going to be at eating-wise, health-wise? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to do a bikini competition? Like, what does that look like? How do you get there? So this is your vision for your life. Jamberry plays a small or large portion of that, but it's just going to be one segment. So make sure you're touching on the other areas so that you have a balanced wheel or a balanced kind of life. You know, if you only focus on one area, like career, and let's say Jamberry is your career and you only focus on that and you forget about your health and you're not eating, you're not working out, you're not taking time for yourself, you're not turning off the computer or the phone or setting boundaries, that is not good, my friends. That is not good. Likewise, how are your relationships? Have you seen your friends? Have you seen your family? Are you spending time with your spouse? Are you pouring into your spouse just as much as you're pouring into your business? Those are areas for goals too. So, some of the resources that I'm going to show you guys that will help you set goals after you've done this vision is if you've read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, he talks about these resources in there. There's also a book that we got as executives called Living Your Best Year Ever. Well, I really like some of the worksheets and they're free, which is like the best price ever. So I'll post a link for them, but it's awesome. So you take this quiz and you see where your wheel is unbalanced. You do a gratitude assessment to figure out what the heck are you grateful for? Because if you're not going to be grateful for things, life is not going to present you with more things. Then you can see where you're not balanced at currently, and you can begin to set goals based on that and based on your vision 3 years from now. And that walks you through it. So like they have business. So it's like, what are your top 8 things that you would like to happen in your business? What are the top 8 things that you want to see financially in the next year? What are, physical? What are, where do you see yourself at, like, mentally? Like, do you want to read 30 minutes every day? Do you want to listen to instructional audio? Do you want to take a college course or a seminar or hire a coach or join an organization or whatever? And then family and then spiritual, lifestyle and relationships. So go through that. So then you have these 8 goals for each area. And the next worksheet helps you break it down into the top 10. So these might be, hopefully it doesn't quit on me now. I'm almost done. But it helps you break down your top 10. So these would be, like you'll notice, I love Jamberry. These are business goals. So I do have a lot of business focused on there. But I still made sure to put some other places where I'm a little unbalanced in my wheel in there. So then you set your top 10. So that's where I know, okay, do these goals align with my 3-year vision? They do. They're going to get me, a third of the way to my 3-year vision. So they're great to start working on. So then I can start plugging away and I can be like, okay, well, I'm going to work on these 3 this 90 days. Or maybe I just have one really huge goal that I want to get out of the way. And I'm like, I'm going to work on this for 90 days and that's it. And then I'm going to move on, check it off the list, and I'm going to keep working on the other 9. Then you can do a habit assessment. So this is where you break down in detail those goals. So if you have a hard time setting goals, or especially setting SMART goals, this is a great thing to do because you do a couple of things. So you pick your goal from your top 10. And remember, if you have a goal on here that does not align with your vision, get it off. Because it's going to do you no good. Like, if you have a goal that's not going to get you one step closer to where you want to be, say no. It's really hard. But are you living your own vision or are you living someone else's? Get it off if it's not your vision. So the habit assessment. So this is great. You take your 10 goals and you break it down into your top 3 goals from your top 10. And then you say, who do I need to become to get there? This is huge. So, wherever and whatever you know in life and whatever you've educated yourself on and learned got you here. Now it's your job to do and be and learn whatever you need to get from here to the next level, whatever that looks like, for goals, for your life, for your vision. So, who do you need to become? Do you need to be more positive? Maybe you need to read a book on how to be a badass. Do you need to step out of your comfort zone? Do you need to start doing trainings? Do you need to start getting in public? Join a Toastmasters. It's a whole nother conversation. Go to networking. So who do you need to become to take yourself to that next level to get where you want to be? And then what new habits, what new behaviors do you need to do to become that person? And it's not like being fake, but we have to grow as individuals. And as we grow and learn, that's where we start seeing the progression to get us towards that vision. What healthy habits do we need to expand on? And then what things do we need to say no to and need to stop? Because let's face it, I love reality TV. Like, love reality TV. And I love French fries, and I love chips and salsa, and I love greasy Mexican food. Those things are not great for where I see myself 3 years from now, right? But I could eat chips and salsa like every day. Just saying. So if you ever see me or we ever hang out, let's go eat good Mexican. So then you just choose some things that you want to change. So you would choose like kind of behavior modification. So, okay, well, instead of watching 2 hours of reality TV every day, I don't watch that much, but instead of watching 2 hours of reality TV, I'm going to cut it down to 30 minutes. Like, I'm going to wean myself off. And then with that hour and a half, I'm going to listen to an educational book, or I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to goal set. So it doesn't necessarily need to be like you need to quit your life cold turkey and give up everything you love because you want to get to this vision. Because there has to be that balance of life, right? Like, I can't just give up chips and salsa forever. I have to have them once in a while. So it's that balance. So it's giving up a little bit. You still do it, but you're giving up a little bit to become, a little bit better in another area, or devote your time to something different that's going to benefit your grand vision, your vision for Jamberry, your vision for your fitness, your vision for your relationship with your husband or your kids or your family. And every day, I started doing this like 2 weeks ago, and it's really, really good. So if you guys need a good book to read, I have been reading a lot of books lately, like a lot of books, and listening to a lot of books. But Grant Cardone, so Grant, Cardone, Cardone, is like the bomb. Like, I feel like he's amazing. So he's not in network marketing. He's just a sales guy. He has some great books. One is called 10X, and it is so good. And it's about thinking huge and going for those big things, because you'll fall kind of where you wanted to. Or you'll hit the big thing and you'll keep on going towards the next big thing. But he talks about a lot of his success has come from not only daily affirmations, but writing every single day when he wakes up and every single night that he goes to bed. He starts his day and finishes his day writing goals, but in present tense. Like, I am an elite executive. I have, $300,000 personal sales. I have a team of 20,000. I am physically fit and can run a mile without stopping. I cook dinner every night for my husband. I love cooking, but it's just like so much time. I set a budget and stuck to it for a month. I have saved X amount of dollars. So it's setting goals, but you're training your brain to already think like you have met the goal. So it's, again, that positive vision. You're creating that positive vision for yourself by daily taking like 10 minutes and writing out goals that have already happened, like they have already happened. So that way you train your brain to start looking for the things that are going to help you make that actually happen. So I do that in the morning. I also read a chapter from a book in the morning, like whatever book. I read a chapter, unless I'm super exhausted, I'll read like a couple pages in a book before bed. That way, as I'm falling asleep, if my mind is wandering, it's wandering about what I just read, not about the smut TV that I watched, an hour ago. And I really have been working hard at scheduling and time blocking myself to make sure that I work on my vision daily. So what does that mean? It's not like I'm like, in 3 years from now, every single day, I'm thinking 3 years from now, this is where I want to be. No. But there's some aspect of that 3-year grand big vision that I can work on every day. So if my sales, let's say part of my vision is owning a home. It is. That's like part of my vision is owning a home. Okay, so I have literally this vision. Like in my vision, I wrote down, I can tell you what my walkway looks like, what plants are sitting outside my door. I can tell you that I have an outdoor shower and what that looks like. I can tell you what my backyard looks like. I can tell you what kind of palm trees I have. I can tell you what kind of tile on my pool. I can tell you what kind of doors I have. Like my vision is crystal clear. There are things that I can work on my vision every single day though. How am I going to get that house? Am I paying down my debt? Am I making sure that I'm saving for a down payment? Am I doing my taxes every single week or month or whatever, entering stuff into TaxSpot? Am I, there's small goals that I can do every single day that get me one step closer to my vision. So I try to work on my vision every single day, even if it's just working on being positive. That is hard. So hard. I don't know why, but in the shower, I feel like I'm super negative. So in the shower is where I say my positive affirmations for the day. And super small things like I try to not complain about the weather or the really horrible drivers in Arizona. When people complain to me, I turn it around and be positive. When I see complaining in a group on Facebook, I turn off the notifications in that group. And when I'm ready to go back to it, I do. If someone on my team is being super negative, I literally do not answer their message. I don't. I'm like, what is this benefiting me? It's not. And it's not benefiting the other person by me feeding into the negativity. So if you can do one thing every day for your vision, it's being positive. And start small. Start there. So because I will tell you, you guys, the people that are negative and victimize themselves all the time probably aren't the 10 people that are on here wanting to learn about vision. It's sad because they probably need it the most, but that's okay. That's who they are. They're sitting in that negative or that neutral, and that's totally fine. It's not okay for me. Mediocrity, not okay for me. Being average, not okay for me. I'll leave you with this quote. This is, I don't actually know who this is. It might be Grant Cardone, but messy success is better than perfect mediocrity. Schedule it. It's only Monday. You have 4 days left in the week. Find an hour where you can sit with no kids bothering you, where you can sit uninterrupted, no electronics, and you can literally just write. And it might seem weird like a fairy tale because you're like, I don't know how this is ever going to come true. Think about those negative thoughts too and reflect on them. So Okay, bye. Thanks. Do you like my shirt? It's but first.